Hey everyone, our next project is going to be an optical illusion project. I think you're going to like it. It's a lot of fun. I tried one last night and I used my hand to create an optical illusion that my hand was three-dimensional on the paper. And so it's a lot of fun to learn to do. I'm going to show you how in just a minute. You might want to gather your supplies though while I get ready. So you're going to need a piece of paper. It could be copier paper, would work just fine. A ruler, a pencil, and markers. If you don't have markers, you could use colored pencils or crayons, but I think markers are the best material for this project. So get your supplies together and I'll get mine and we'll start in just a minute. Alright, so hopefully you have your materials ready. I'm going to start with my ruler handy. I have my pencil and my eraser in case I need it. The first thing you're going to want to do is trace your hand right in the center of your paper. So put your hand on the center of your paper and open it up just like that. And I'm going to start, you even want to trace your part of your arm here. So I'll start way down here. And just try to trace it kind of lightly. Doesn't need to be dark. It's okay if it's a little messy. So I'm getting that traced first. All right. Next I'm going to just fix anything that looks a little wonky. So my ring was kind of bumped out, so I'm going to trace around that. I'm going to kind of make my finger just a little thinner there. So you can kind of change or fix anything that you think might need it. The next thing that we're going to do is use our ruler and we're going to start to make lines. The first thing though we need to do is I'm going to turn my paper horizontal and I'm going to put my ruler at the very edge of my paper here. So I'm lining up my ruler edge with the edge of my paper right here. What I want to do is I'm going to hold it still with my left hand. With my right hand, I'm going to draw a line. And when I draw my line, I'm going to stop. I'm going to bump and jump over my hand. Okay? So I've drawn one line there. Now I'm going to move my ruler up to that line and line it up. And I'm going to keep doing this and bump and jump over my hand each time. So right now I'm making lines that are about 1 inch apart. So I'm putting my ruler on the line I just made, drawing my line and bumping and jumping it. When you get to the fingers, it could be a little trickier. You might have to do a lot of bumping and jumping at that point. So on this next one, I think I'll have to do some bumping and jumping. Here, here. All right. So I've got those lines. Those lines are kind of big stripes, so we want to make them a little smaller. So we are going to go through and make marks at the 1/2 inch marks and line those up. But before we do that, I think it's a little easier to go ahead and make our lines that are going to show our optical illusions with this set of lines now. So I'm going to start here at the wrist, at the very bottom line, and I'm going to draw a curve, almost like a rainbow line. So I'm going to start at the right-hand side and go up, and it's going to kind of fade in a little bit to the edge of my wrist, and it's going to give the optical illusion that this stripe is going up over my hand. Now I'm going to go to the next one up, and again, it's going to be like a rainbow curve, but it's going to come down and meet the other line. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. It's going to be a rainbow curve up and meet the other line. So sometimes it's easier for me to make the line meet in the middle and then erase my mess ups, because these rainbow curves aren't going to be perfect. All right. Now I'm going to make a bump on my thumb connecting these two lines. So it's going to go like this. Okay. And then from this line to this line, I'm going to connect those with another rainbow curve. All right. Erase what you think doesn't look right. All right. This is going to connect here. But again, I want to kind of bump and jump probably if I run into a spot where these are supposed to connect. So see, I made that too low. I realized it wasn't going to connect. That's why I think coming from each end and meeting the middle sometimes works better. All right, now I'm going to do each finger, which is going to be like a little rainbow line. I'm trying to kind of match so they're kind of all looking similar. So our optical illusion will work right. So they're all kind of coming up about the same amount of rainbow. Okay. All right, so right now I want to put in the other lines that are going to make a line in between each one of these. So to do that, I'm going to turn my paper upside down, and I'm going to start by putting my ruler on the edge here. Make sure that the 0 mark is at the top of my paper, and I'll notice that each one of these is about an inch. So I'm going to put this about in the middle, and I'm going to try to make like a mark at the 1/2 inch mark where each one would be in between. So my ruler wasn't exactly an inch, it's almost an inch. So I'm putting, like for example, this stripe, it's a little bit wider than the 4 and the 5 inch mark. So I'm just going to eyeball it and put a little mark where I think the 1/2 inch, the halfway mark would go. I'm just like estimating it, just so that I can kind of have a good idea where like the halfway mark might be. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So, if I were to look, like for example, right here between the 1 and the 2, I'm going to just put that inch kind of in the middle of my stripe and make a little mark at the 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same thing for each one of these and the bottom one. And making these little 1/2 inch marks are going to help me line up my ruler when I make the smaller lines in the middle. Now, we don't use rulers too much in art class. Sometimes I think rulers make us focus too much on getting it perfect. But in this case, we really need ruler lines for our optical illusion. Okay, so now what you can see I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my ruler with these 1/2 inch marks. So my ruler is going to go at this 1/2 inch mark and the other one on the other side. And those are going to be my guides to hold my ruler down and draw my line again with bump and jumps. Okay, so I've drawn my other lines, so now I want to put my optical illusion lines on my hand. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. I have a new line that I'm going to kind of mimic this one. It's going to go up, and it's going to look like it's going up and around my wrist. Now I'm going to connect these two lines. So it's going to go up and do something like that. All right, now I'm going to connect this one and this one. Looks like it's going over my hand. Let's see, I need to do this one on my thumb. And this one looks like it's going to kind of go connect almost a little bit into that one. So this stripe and this stripe, I'll have to remember, are the same. That might be a little tricky. Maybe I'll move this one down just slightly so I don't get too confused on those stripes. Okay, now I'm up at this one and these kind of rainbow lines here. On the fingers, I think they're the easiest because they're just like a little rainbow line. All right, almost done. Okay, so once you are finished, now you get to color it. And when you're coloring this, I think it's easiest to use markers. But like I said, you could use crayons or colored pencils. When you use markers, you can kind of see the marker lines, and I think it helps to show the optical illusion, because if your marker line is straight here but curved where your hand is, it helps to show the form, which will also help your optical illusion. So let's start. I'm just gonna start with maybe this yellow-green color. You can use rainbow stripes, a set of few different colors, whatever you want. I'm gonna start right here by outlining the shape, and I'm gonna treat this kind of like a rectangle. Now, this is supposed to be flat here, so I'm going to fill this in with straight, flat lines. And that's supposed to help the optical illusion. Now, where it is supposed to be curved, I'm going to outline that curve, and I want to mimic line that curve so that the lines of the marker are helping to show that that is rounded. Now I have a tiny little space here in between. Now I have this, so I'm trying to show that's curved. Okay, and where it's supposed to be flat, it's going to be flat. And I think that's, I didn't draw a line in between there, so that confused me a little bit, but I think it's supposed to be maybe a little deeper. All right, and these are connected. And again, making those lines as curved as possible is going to help your optical illusion. And then this is the straight flat part again. And that helps it look real flat if you make it straight. All right, so next color I'm going to do is a really light yellow-green underneath it. And again, I think it's easier to start with a straight flat part. Okay, I have finished my drawing and I'm pretty happy with it. One thing that you might want to do is at the very bottom here, add in a little rainbow line to show that the stripes keep going. And also keep in mind that the marker, the way that you color with the marker really helps with that optical illusion. So having it curve along with your rainbow line is really important. And also you can try it with any shape. It does not have to be your hand. I hope that you have fun with this and enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.